Okay, 1 2 1 2. Good day, traders. Hope you guys are good. And welcome to this week's segment of our weekly market breakdowns. So, don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get straight into it. Let's start by looking at US30. As you can see right now, we are on a downtrend. I'm looking at it from the weekly, right? This being the most recent low that the market has created, and this being our strongest high. So it's kind of similar to the setup that we saw on Nasdaq last week, right? We also see that where price turned is actually a reaction from this weekly demand zone. So as you can see right here, there is no sort of like imbalance, but we have this area of liquidity right here. And then we have the supply zone over here. So similar to what I expect to see on Nasdaq, I do think there's potential for us to go higher and then maybe turn, because the trend is still the downtrend. This week we had a bit of a bearish movement, but it was not enough to engulf last week's bullish push. So it could suggest that it was a correction. So imagine you had a strong push in one direction and then you had a counter trend movement, right? In my video where I talked about reading price action, you don't necessarily have to be a smart money trader to understand these concepts. But from the size of a candlestick, you can sort of interpret what's happening on the lower time frames. And from what we're seeing here, this is a minor correction. So if, say, for example, next week we don't get a drop towards the downside with a strong candlestick, it means that price is still going to continue going up. In actual fact, we know that with the weekly cycles, what usually happens is you have manipulation days where this is your Monday, right? And price, in a bullish scenario, by the way, and price usually goes below the low, take out the liquidity that it needs to take out, and then goes into an institutional level. And then that's where you'll get a strong move towards the upside. So that's kind of like what I'm expecting. Looking at like my bias in general and looking at the size of this candlestick, if you didn't get anything that I said, I think on the lower time frames we are just in a correction, right? And because we are on this, what I want to see on the lower time frame is a change of character, right? So let's go to the daily, and there you have it. On the lower time frames, you had this clear change of sentiment, right? With this change of character over here. So do you see the impulse that I was talking about that broke previous structure? Now you have this correction right here. We also have equal highs here, so that's liquidity. And then you have an imbalance above that area of liquidity, which creates incentive for price to go all the way up, after taking out this liquidity. Now we have this daily supply, right? And the only reason why I'm not planning on trading from it is because it's at an area where there's immediate liquidity. We've spoken at length about this in different videos. But for now, what I want you guys to see is the correction, because I mean, that's how we're planning on entering on this trade. We had a fair value gap from this movement over here, and the market took some of the orders here, right? So there is a possibility that the market might take liquidity from the low and go to the source of this fair value gap, which is right here. So we have liquidity here in the form of a swing low. A swing low. So the first scenario that I see happening is us tapping into this area of liquidity and then going up. So, or we could just go up straight away, but I do want to see a bit of an induction towards the downside, right? So this is what I see on US30. But yeah, I'll be monitoring this and I'll send you guys an update. I just don't want to spend too much time on this pair. Let's move on to other pairs. All right, then. Moving on to our next pair, we are on EURGBP. Right, on EURGBP, you can see right here that we took liquidity from this low right here, and price is kind of making its way to the upside. You're getting bullish pressure. Now, we have an imbalance over here. And on this region right here, I wouldn't necessarily suggest that we sell because it has a weaker base. If we look above it though, we have liquidity. So price might go towards the upside. For now, I think that price is just stuck in between this range over here, right? We had this strong candlestick towards the upside, which left a fair value gap. And the market actually tapped into some of the orders that were left here. So maybe in the future, sometime price will eventually go towards the upside. Towards the downside to fill in some of the orders that it left here. But what you see right here is that we have an ending diagonal, right? And then a breakout from that. And we know that this ending diagonal is a reversal pattern. So we got the confirmation that the market is reversing. So I think the market will go all the way to at least this point over here, right? Which is about 700 pips plus, right? So we have an ending diagonal, we have liquidity being taken, the market tapping into some of the fair value gaps, in some of the unfilled orders right here. So on the lower time frame, what I want to see is a change of character. I want to see the market giving us like confirmation, like real confirmation to enter into these trades, right? And we want to take advantage of these opportunities because 700 pips is a lot. 700 pips is a lot. Even if you can pocket at least 100, still make a lot of money. So let's go to the lower time frame. As you go to the lower time frames, you will see this change of sentiment right here, right? More clearly. So the market came, we had a strong, well, not strong, but we had an induction going into this level right here. And then we had the market creating lower highs. And then this high over here, for it to be strong, it had to break through this low, and then it failed, right? After failing to break this low, then we had this change of sentiment. So that's what's happening right now, right? The market has created a new high, which I think I can use a different color for it, but the market has created a new high. And as you can see with this bullish pressure, with this closed candlestick, the price is trying to push higher. So in this instance, the bulls are in control. So we kind of late in this trade. I won't lie, guys, like I said last week, I don't pay attention to these pairs. Like in any given week, there's only one pair that I focus on at that time. And I tend to not look at other pairs. So yeah, if we go to the daily, we have this potential level right here, which could be a zone, right? But I want to see a few things before I can really confirm it as a zone to be trading from. Number one, I want to see a breakout of structure. So I want to see it violate this level right here. And number two, I want to see one OHCL candlestick consolidating away from this level. So if I can get those two, then I know I have my confirmation. But if you look at this, we have an uptrend. Now, this is an internal low, but yeah, we're waiting for the market to violate this high and then return to this zone as an order block. Then it goes high. But yeah, that's my sentiment on EURGBP. Let's move on to another pair. All right, now we are on USDCHF. Here we kind of missed the trade. I was expecting the market to hit the zone. So let me go back a time frame higher. Yeah, I was expecting the market to hit the zone right here after taking this liquidity. So the only thing we managed to do, or the only thing the market managed to do in this instance, was just to take out this liquidity. So after taking out that liquidity, we had a reversal. Like I said, forgot about it, right? Now the market is weak. It's making its way to the downside to this level right here. We have fair value gaps here, right? And the market does not necessarily have to go into the zone, because if you can look here on this region, the market is balanced. So there could be a demand zone here, right? But I was using a trend line last time, I remember. I was using a trend line to sort of like guide me, because we also have discounted levels, right? So this is the trend line that I'm basing my sort of like zone at, my discounted level at, right? So yeah, that's what we see right now. So what am I thinking of what's happening right now? We had bullish pressure this week. This week ended off bullish, but not bullish enough to engulf last week's bearish pressure. So I can only assume that this week we had a correction. So if we go to the daily, like I said, strong impulsive movement. Now we're in a corrective pattern. I think the market is just generating liquidity, right? And then we also have this level right here. So this level, my problem with it is that it hasn't been confirmed because it hasn't broken any opposing structure, right? But it's on the same level as this failed demand, right? So I can only assume that the market might be using it as a flip zone, right? So yeah, it's a flip zone. So if the market is generating liquidity, can take out the highs, lure people into buying. As soon as people buy, take a massive sell, right? This is the hidden demand zone that I was talking about. Sorry, that I was talking about here, right? But as you can see below it, we have a fair value gap. So that's the first one where the market can potentially reverse. But then the second one is here, which is a higher probability level because it is nested within a higher time frame zone, right? So that's what I see on USDCHF. I'm still bearish on this pair. I have no reason to believe that prices are going high anytime soon, right? Well, soon, yeah, price might go high, but for now, we're still in a bearish movement. If we don't get the push towards the upside, we can always rely on the breakout from this low right here, right? If we get a breakout below this level, then we can also take advantage of this. But yeah, that's my update on USDCHF. Let's move on to another pair. Right, and then finally we'll look at the dollar index. As you remember, guys, liquidity, then if you zoom in, this is like a low probability zone. So interesting enough, we got a rejection from the zone and an uptrend. So the market could react from it. Maybe this is a flag, go towards the upside. But if that's the case, we want to see a change of structure or a change of sentiment. I don't know why I always say change of structure, right? If that's not the case, let me go to the monthly. I'm waiting for the market to fill in this gap right here. So in the month of June, that's where we might see the market filling in this gap. And then the source of the gap is here. So, but as we've established in previous videos, I'm still very bullish on the dollar index in the long run. So as you can see, if we look at it from that perspective, the nested zone is this one right here. That's my high probability level. So if you go to the daily, what am I seeing? We have a change of structure over here, confirmed, but I have a problem, right? And my problem is that, you see, upon changing sentiment, we created a zone here, but the zone has been invalidated by this candlestick over here, right? Meaning, meaning we're not on a valid demand level on the daily. So this could simply be liquidity being created, right? And then the market going into a valid supply level. And now the market reacted from that supply. And then we also see that we've had a change of structure here. Price has changed sentiment. We've had this counter trend impulsive movement because it's not a strong impulsive movement. This could be our correction, right? So I don't know. I think maybe because of my bias, I'm what you call bearish, right? But I'm not seeing what's in front of me. But for me, okay, I'll wait for two instances. Let me remove this. I'll wait for the market to break out from either this high and this low. If the market breaks out from this high, then we know it's because the weekly zone is in control, but that zone is weak. Number two, we have a break of internal structure, which is this high over here. If we break through this low, number one, we know at a high probability level and price. Oh, and then we have a fair value gap. So those are the two scenarios that I see on the dollar index. Yeah, that's what I see, guys. That's all I have for you guys for this week. Other pairs will be shared on the Telegram group, but we more or less still waiting, right? So there are trades that are placed a while ago. I'm still waiting for them to play out. So if you wanna be up to date with the pairs that I'm trading, make sure that you watch the last two before this one, two market breakdowns that I uploaded. But yeah, guys, my battery is dying and I'm not at home. So I'll see you guys in another video. For now, peace.